Once upon a time, Nina Okoro was the embodiment of success. At just 34, she has risen to the top of the corporate world, running her own business empire with precision and flair. She was admired for her beauty, intelligence, and unrelenting ambition. But beneath the surface of her public image lay a complex marriage to Ken, a talented but struggling architect. Ken had dreams of building a legacy in architecture, but the reality of his career was far from what he had imagined. Contracts were few and far between, and the financial strain on the family weighed heavily on him. His pride wouldn't let him accept help from Nina, even though her income could easily sustain them. For Ken, being the man of the house meant providing for his wife and his son, Junior. But as time went on, his inability to do so eroded his confidence and their relationship. Nina, on the other hand, was a practical woman. She hated seeing Ken struggle and was willing to step up. But his constant refusal frustrated her. Despite her success, she often felt like she was walking on eggshells around him. To secure deals in her male-dominated industry, she had adopted the strategy of presenting herself as single. Many men found her captivating, and she used that to her advantage, flirting just enough to get contracts signed without ever crossing the line. She didn't consider it cheating, it was just business. But deep down, she knew that pretending to be single chipped away at the sanity of her marriage. One day, after months of rejection and failed pitches, Ken finally got a breakthrough. A prominent real estate company was interested in hiring him for a massive project that could turn his life and career around. The CEO, Mr. Adewale, invited him to an official dinner to discuss the contract, with one condition. He wanted Ken to bring his wife along. "She must join you," Mr. Adewale said over the phone. "I like to know the families of the people I work with. Bring her." Ken hesitated but agreed. That evening, he nervously told Nina about the invitation. "I will come," she said, eager to support him. "This could be the big breakthrough you have been waiting for." They arrived at the high-end restaurant that evening. Nina wore a sleek black dress that accentuated her stunning features, and Ken couldn't help but feel proud, yet uneasy, watching other men glance her way. When they met Mr. Adewale, it became apparent that he was captivated by Nina. His eyes lingered on her a little too long, his comments viewed with flattery. Nina, used to such attention, she kept composure. But Ken's discomfort grew with every passing minute. Midway through the dinner, Nina excused herself to use the restroom. The moment she left, Mr. Adewale leaned forward, his tone shifting. "Ken," he began, swallowing his wine glass, "you are a lucky man. Your wife is stunning." Ken forced a smile, unsure where the conversation was headed. "I will get straight to the point," Adewale continued. "I will give you the contract, but I want one night with your wife." Ken froze. The words hit him like a punch to the gut. "I beg your pardon." "You heard me," Adewale said, unfazed. "You want the deal. I want your wife. One night, no strings attached." Ken felt a urge of anger. but it was quickly overshadowed by desperation. He thought about the school fees he couldn't pay, the bills piling up, and the ridicule he faced from family and friends who saw him as a failure. When Nina returned from the restroom, Ken pulled her aside, his voice shaking. "You are not coming home with me tonight," he said. "What are you talking about?" she asked, confused. "I need this deal, Nina. Adewale wants you to stay with him just one night." Her heart sank. "You can't be serious, Ken." His eyes was filled with shame and frustration. "We need this, Nina, for Junior, for us." Nina stared at him in disbelief, then looked over at Mr. Adewale, who raised his glass with a smug smile. After a long pause, she nodded, her expression cold and unreadable. That night, in the lavish hotel room Adewale booked, Nina sat at the edge of the bed, sitting with anger and humiliation. When he commanded her to undress, she refused at first, but when he explained that Ken had agreed to the arrangement, something inside her broke. She complied, her heart hardened with every moment. The next morning, Ken received the signed contract, but the victory felt hollow. Nina returned home, but the rift between them has broken. She couldn't look at him without feeling disgusted, and he couldn't look at her without feeling ashamed. In the weeks that followed, Nina began to change. She realized that if Ken would set her up with another man for money, he didn't truly value her. She started focusing on her own personal business, using her beauty and connections to secure investments from top politicians and business moguls. Her success skyrocketed, but her presence at home reduced. She hardly spent time with Ken or Junior, coming home late or not at all. When she did, she was dismissive and rude, treating Ken with contempt. One evening, a luxurious car dropped her off at their house. Ken already had a breaking point, confronted her. "Who was that?" he demanded. She smiled, her tone eyes. "Does it matter? You sold me to a man for a contract. Don't act like you care now." Ken's rage boiled over. "Get out of my house," he shouted. "I want a divorce." Nina laughed bitterly. "Your house? You can't even pay the bills here without my money." Ken was resolute. He packed her belongings and threw them outside, filing for divorce the next day. What is your opinion about this story? If you were to be Ken, accepting the deal in the first place, was it a mistake? Does it show lack of respect and love for his wife? On the other hand, was Nina's behavior destructive? Like, instead of addressing the issues in their marriage, she let anger and resentment drive her actions. What's your opinion about the divorce? Was it likely the best option for them, as their marriage had become toxic beyond repair? Kindly share your opinion on the comment section, and please do wait to like and follow for more. Thank you.